Welcome back to the deep dive. When we talk about Italy, our minds often go straight to classical history, maybe Renaissance art.
Right, or the food. That obsession over getting the pasta just right.
Exactly. But the stack of source material we've compiled, it reveals a completely different picture. We're seeing Italy as this powerful, hyper-efficient engine for green innovation.
That's really the core of it, isn't it? The narrative has shifted. It's less about historical conservation and more about this radical ecological transition.
So it's not just preserving the past.
Not at all. These sources show a national strategy. It's about engineering economic value from waste, securing resource independence, and, reshaping their labor markets. It's that famous made in Italy ingenuity, just applied to high-tech sustainability.
Okay, let's unpack that. We found two nuggets that I think just perfectly capture this. They span everything from your daily life to heavy engineering.
Mhm.
So first, you might need to prepare for a total overhaul of your morning routine. A capsule-less coffee revolution from Lavazza.
A coffee tablet that is 100% coffee.
100%. No plastic, no aluminum, no waste. 5 years of R&D to figure that out.
And the second one is maybe the most surprising example of grassroots innovation I've seen.
Yeah.
It's a story of three high school students who looked at a speed bump, an absolute road nuisance, and figured out how to turn the kinetic energy from traffic into clean hydrogen fuel.
It's just brilliant. And that combination, right, the radical consumer convenience on one hand and this self-sufficient energy engineering on the other, it just sets the tone for everything we're about to explore.
Absolutely. This deep dive went from cultural history to industrial materials science very, very quickly.
So let's start there. Let's talk about how Italy is redefining industrial waste. We have to begin in Vicenza with a company called Sicet.
Yeah, this isn't just basic recycling. It is, like a specialized high-stakes alchemy.
Alchemy is a good word for it.
CSIT focuses on one of the most difficult industrial waste streams in Europe, the byproducts and sludge from tanning industries. Historically, this stuff is just an environmental headache.
Okay, that sounds great. But industrial tanning waste? It can contain some really complex chemicals. How do we know this isn't just shifting a pollutant from one industry over to agriculture? That's always the big question with circular models.
That's the crucial part. It's where the high-value transformation comes in. CSIT uses patented processes to neutralize and transform those byproducts into two specific certified outputs.
Okay.
First, natural protein-based fertilizers, they call them biostimulants for agriculture, and second, gypsum retardants, which are essential for green building materials. So they aren't just getting rid of waste, they're creating a certified marketable asset.
And what about their own footprint in doing this?
That's also key. They minimize it by generating their own renewable electricity on-site and dramatically cutting their own water and chemical use.
So moving from industrial waste to Italy's biodiversity, we see that high-tech pivot again with a startup called Exolab.
Right. They're taking these premium, organic, made-in-Italy crops, think Abruzzo grapes, Sicilian blood oranges, broccoli, and turning them into this versatile powder.
For cosmetics and nutraceuticals, right?
Exactly. But what's fascinating is the science behind it. They're focused on what are called exosomes.
Exosomes.
You can think of these as the natural internet network inside a plant. They're these tiny vesicles that transport all the nutrients and proteins around the organism. So Exolab is essentially harvesting this super efficient delivery system.
And the market for this is huge. You're talking about the global cosmetics sector, which is worth around $16 billion and is expected to grow.
And the process itself is completely sustainable. It's all mechanical, no chemical solvents. Any leftover peel or fiber just gets composted and goes right back to the farm.
It really validates the whole Italian organic agriculture sector, doesn't it?
It does. We saw that the organic sector is growing, especially in places like Sicily, where the unique soil creates crops with these incredible concentrations of nutrients. It's marrying local distinction with global high-tech demand.
Okay, so from large-scale industrial complexity down to the daily consumer level, if Italy can turn tanning sludge into fertilizer, surely they can solve the waste from my morning coffee.
That brings us to Lavazza and their tabli, the single-serve coffee revolution.
It's a genius piece of R&D.
It really is. 5 years and over 15 patents to develop a single-serve tablet where the entire thing is just 100% compressed coffee grounds.
Which solves the biggest headache of single-use capsules. The plastic, the aluminum, the little films, all of it.
All gone. They acquired a startup called Cafemotive back in 2020 to start this journey. The challenge was huge. How do you make something durable and aroma-preserving, but also totally compostable?
And they've done it. They're launching in Italy in September 2025.
And speaking of solving waste confusion, I think everyone can relate to the frustration of trying to figure out recycling rules.
Oh, absolutely. Is this Tetra Pak paper? Is it plastic? Does it go in unsorted?
I feel so validated that the Hooli indoor smart bin exists. This is from Ganica, a startup in Tuscany.
An AI-powered smart bin? Tell me more.
It's a generative AI solution using deep learning. The bin has a camera, and the AI automatically recognizes and sorts the waste. And critically, it can learn. It can handle items it's never seen before.
Which is perfect for solving the problem of different rules in different towns.
Exactly. And the sustainability loop here is just perfect. The bin itself is made from recycled materials, including 3D printed parts that are sourced from decommissioned wind turbine blades.
Wow. So they're taking massive industrial waste and using it to solve a consumer-level problem.
It's a fantastic demonstration of that made-in-Italy ingenuity that's being promoted globally.
Okay, let's shift gears to infrastructure and energy. From sorting waste to actively capturing energy that's already being wasted, we have to talk about hydrocold.
Francesco, Tommaso, and Paul, 3 high school students from Alessandria.
This is just genius, seeing a road nuisance as a power source.
It is. They developed what they call press bump technology. They leverage the kinetic energy from the weight of vehicles.
Just driving over a speed bump?
Exactly. That generates electricity, which then powers an electrolyzer to split water into hydrogen and oxygen.
And the hydrogen gets stored to power local fuel cells. The key insight here is that the whole system is self-sufficient. It doesn't need an external battery and has zero environmental impact.
What stands out to me is the scalability. The kinetic energy from a steady stream of traffic, even if it's intermittent, provides enough continuous power to run the system efficiently.
So every high-traffic intersection could become a tiny green hydrogen production unit.
Potentially, yeah. A major contribution to future energy security.
Oh.
It's no wonder they're representing Italy at the Regeneron ICEF competition next year.
From the surface of the road, let's go 300 meters underground to Melinda, the apple producer in the Dolomites.
Right, the world's first and only underground fruit refrigeration facility.
They didn't dig it out, did they?
No, they utilized existing cavities from the Rio Maggiore mine in Trento. They were carved out years ago for dolomite rock extraction. Now you have 34 massive chambers, each holding nearly 1,000 tons of apples.
It's optimizing a historical industrial cavity for a modern, sustainable purpose. The benefits must be huge.
They are staggering. They save 1.9 gigawatt hours of energy a year. That's enough electricity for about 2,000 people. They save water with geothermal tech. They eliminate polluting insulation panels.
And they don't have to build anything new on the surface land.
Exactly. And that same holistic approach extends to the Fiumicino Airport in Rome. They just unveiled Italy's largest Second Life battery storage system.
This is what I found fascinating, the engineering difficulty here. The system uses heterogeneous batteries.
Used EV batteries from 3 different automakers.
Which is not a simple plug-and-play solution. I mean, wasn't compatibility a massive headache?
It was a huge challenge, but that's precisely why the system is so innovative and got EU recognition. They had to develop the software to harmonize batteries with different chemistries, different life stages.
And what does it do?
It stores green energy from the airport's solar farm, giving them more energy independence. And it gives those old batteries a valuable second life, which they estimate will eliminate 16,000 tons of co-euro over 10 years.
A powerful precedent for managing EV battery waste. And if we connect that to mobility, Italy is also tackling the marine transport sector.
Yes, with the world's first hydrogen-powered cruise ship, the Libra, being built in Ancona.
We're talking massive scale here.
A gross tonnage of 54,300 tons. It should be ready by 2026. It's going to use a specialized fuel cell system that's aiming to cut emissions by 60 to 65% initially.
Which is critical given the size of that industry, and their long-term goal is net zero by 2035.
Right. They recognize it has to be a mix of technologies, things that are compatible with existing ports around the world. There's no single silver bullet.
Okay, let's move inland now to the agricultural sector, which is, far more than just cultural heritage. It's a huge economic driver.
Absolutely. Italy ranks first in the EU for added value in agri-food. It contributes over 42 billion euros, and the whole supply chain is almost 19% of Italy's GDP.
And the sector's being propelled by its youngest generation. The data we found showed that farmers under 35, they only represent about 7.5% of the farms, but they generate 15% of the sector's total economic value.
And their average productivity per hectare is about 4,500 euros. That is literally double the European average.
So why the outsized performance?
Innovation. 32% of young farmers actively invest in innovation compared to just over 12% of those over 40. They're diversifying into services like educational farms, social agriculture, even something called agri-asilo,
Which is what?
farm-based childcare. They're just embracing the entire scope of the modern rural economy.
And they're tackling climate change head-on. The Life Vitica's project is a perfect example of this. Carbon farming.
Right, with 3 wine producers in Tuscany and Veneto backed by significant EU funding. The technique is sophisticated, but it's based on ecological common sense.
Like low-impact soil management, not tilling too deep.
Exactly. Maintaining permanent plant cover between the vine rows. This restores the soil's health, helps it capture more carbon, and makes it way more resilient against extreme weather,
And there's a market advantage, right? The project provides scalable, certifiable data on carbon storage.
which can be monetized. It gives consumers assurance about the farm's impact, and it reduces the need for chemical fertilizers. It's a win-win-win.
That resilience is so vital, especially in places like Sicily, which is warming 20% faster than the global average.
Yeah, we saw that in 2024, 100 cities there faced water shortages. It forced farmers to have production of key crops, like Tarocco oranges.
Which make up 60% of Italy's citrus production. That's a huge hit.
So the IDRO initiative is providing solutions. They're reusing wastewater with something called phytoremediation, using plants to naturally clean water, and they're focusing on desalinating brackish well water.
Okay, but desalination can be expensive for small businesses.
It can be. So Catania University developed a mobile reverse osmosis desalination plant. You pair that with precision irrigation using weather sensors and drones, and you're maximizing every single drop of water.
So all of this aggressive, nationwide ecological transition, what does it mean for the job market and for consumers?
This is where we see the structural shift. Data from Earth Day 2024 showed that over 80% of all planned hires, that's 4.4 million jobs, require some level of green skills.
80%. That's across everything from construction and engineering to corporate strategy.
Everything. But here's the bottleneck. Almost half of those positions, 49.4%, are proving difficult to fill.
So there's a huge skills gap.
A critical one. It highlights a structural need for rapid targeted education to close that gap before it actually stalls the transition.
Meanwhile, consumers are driving demand from their end.
Oh, absolutely. Circularity is mainstream now. 40% of Italians have bought used products, 39% have bought refurbished. It's led by young adults and college grads.
And what are their priorities when they buy?
Longevity and repairability. Overwhelmingly. 91% want products that last longer, 90% want things that are easy to repair. It's a powerful market signal to manufacturers to design for circularity from day one.
So what does the national emissions picture look like? I imagine it's a mixed bag.
It is. There's some great success and one persistent challenge. The good news, a 3% reduction in overall emissions in 2024. That's mainly driven by the electricity sector, which has cut its emissions by a staggering 64% since 1990.
Right.
But the transportation sector remains the major obstacle. It's about 28% of total emissions. And those emissions have actually risen by about 7% since 1990.
So even though EV charging infrastructure is growing,
It is. It's up 27% in 2024, but EV market penetration is just slow. It's hovering around 5% compared to 17 or 25% in other major EU countries.
and there's an infrastructure imbalance too.
A big one. 57% of all chargers are in the northern regions. So overcoming that is crucial if Italy wants to tackle transportation, which is really their single biggest hurdle right now.
Before we wrap up, there's one final detail I just love. Urban vineyards.
It's beautiful, isn't it? Italy leads Europe with 32 of them across 15 cities.
They serve this powerful triple function, right?
They do. They preserve historical heritage, they boost biodiversity in dense urban areas, and they absorb CO2s, all while creating jobs and tourism. It's this wonderful synthesis of tradition and environmental function.
So when we put it all together, what does this holistic analysis tell us? For me, the Italian model isn't just about massive, brand new tech, even though they are building hydrogen cruise ships.
I agree. It's fundamentally about optimizing and re-engineering what they already have.
From historical mine shafts to the kinetic energy in a speed bump, and just the unique biodiversity of their soil.
It's a complete transition, and it's being powerfully driven by the market. From the demand for specialized green skills in the workforce to those clear consumer demands for products that last and can be repaired. That synthesis of resource optimization and economic demand, that defines Italy's transition.
And here is a final provocative thought for you to chew on. If you want to understand the true financial value of this sustainability push, just look at the luxury housing market.
Okay.
The Italian real estate market saw about 1.5% growth in sales. But
Yeah.
for the first time ever, the most traded luxury homes were in the most sustainable energy class, A1.
Wow.
It suggests that energy efficiency is no longer just about saving a bit of money on your bills. It has now become the defining feature of premium market value.